For 10 years, everyone in Lagos State knew Toby and Zara as inseparable best friends. If you saw Toby, Zara was probably nearby. If you saw Zara laughing, Toby was usually the reason. People often joked, "Are you two secretly dating?" They would laugh at the question every single time. "No," Zara would reply. "He's my best friend. And she's my partner in crime," Toby would add. They had met when they were just 15 years old at a neighborhood youth program. Toby was the quiet boy who loved drawing and photography. Zara was the cheerful girl who could make friends with anyone within minutes. Although their personalities were completely different, they connected immediately. From that day forward, they became inseparable. They studied together, celebrated birthdays together, encouraged each other through difficult exams, shared dreams about the future. When Toby's father lost his job, Zara secretly organized a fundraiser among friends to help his family. When Zara failed an important university exam and wanted to give up, Toby stayed up all night helping her prepare to try again. Their friendship survived everything. Or so they thought. Years passed. Both graduated from university. Toby became an architect. Zara became an event planner. Even with their busy lives, they still made time for each other every Friday evening. It became their tradition. Street food, long walks, endless conversations. Sometimes they laughed so loudly that strangers turned to look at them. Neither of them cared. One afternoon, Zara introduced Toby to a man named Kelvin. "He's my new colleague." Kelvin was confident, successful, and funny. Soon, he started spending more time with Zara. At first, Toby didn't think much about it. But slowly, he noticed changes. Their Friday outings became less frequent. Zara replied to messages later than usual. Sometimes she cancelled their plans because she was busy. For the first time in 10 years, Toby felt lonely. One evening he saw Zara and Kelvin having dinner together at a restaurant. They looked happy. Something inside him hurt. He couldn't explain why. That night he barely slept. He finally admitted the truth to himself. He wasn't afraid of losing his best friend. He was afraid of losing the woman he loved. But he said nothing. He believed it was too late. If Zara loved Kelvin, he would have to accept it. So he smiled whenever they met. Pretended everything was normal. And quietly carried the pain alone. Months later, Zara called him. "Toby, I need your help. Always. I'm organizing the biggest wedding of my career." His heart stopped. Wedding? Was she getting married? He forced himself to smile. "Congratulations." She laughed. "Not my wedding. I'm planning one." He laughed too. Mostly from relief. As they worked together, old memories returned. Late-night planning sessions. Jokes only they understood. Coffee breaks. Endless laughter. It felt like nothing had changed. Yet Toby still kept his feelings hidden. One rainy evening after work, their car broke down. With no choice, they waited under a small roadside shelter while heavy rain poured across Lagos. There was no electricity. Only the sound of rain. No phones. No distractions. Just silence. Then Zara spoke softly. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why have you been distant these past few months?" Toby looked away. "I didn't want to lose you." She frowned. "Lose me? I thought." He paused. "I thought you and Kelvin were together." For a second, Zara stared at him. Then she burst into uncontrollable laughter. "You thought Kelvin was my boyfriend?" Toby nodded awkwardly. She wiped tears from laughing. "Toby, Kelvin has been married for 4 years. His face turned bright red. I spent months jealous, for nothing. She smiled. For absolutely nothing. Both of them laughed until their stomachs hurt. The rain slowly stopped. Neither of them moved. Instead, Zara looked at him with unusual seriousness. There is something I've wanted to tell you. Toby's heart raced. What is it? I've been waiting 10 years. He blinked. For what? For you. Silence. I thought you only saw me as your best friend. Toby couldn't believe what he was hearing. I've loved you for years, Zara whispered. I just didn't want to ruin our friendship. Toby smiled through tears. So we've both been pretending? She laughed. For 10 whole years. A few weeks later, Toby invited Zara to the rooftop of a beautifully decorated building overlooking the sparkling Lagos skyline. Fairy lights surrounded them. Soft music played. Their closest family and friends watched from a distance. Toby took a deep breath. Then slowly knelt on one knee. He held out a small ring. Zara. For 10 years, you've been my best friend. My biggest supporter. My safest place. I don't want another 10 years wondering, what if? Will you marry me? Tears streamed down Zara's face. She covered her mouth. Then smiled the smile he had loved since they were teenagers. Yes. Yes, Toby. Yes. Cheers filled the night. Fireworks lit up the Lagos sky. Their families clapped. Friends cried tears of joy. 1 year later, they stood together at their wedding. During his speech, Toby smiled and said, people spend years searching for the love of their life. I was lucky enough to spend 10 years calling mine, my best friend. The guest smiled through happy tears. As they danced together under the stars, Zara whispered. You know what? What? I think those 10 years were worth the wait. Toby smiled. So do I. Sometimes, the greatest love stories don't begin with romance. Sometimes, they begin with friendship.